Have you ever found that no matter how much you expand your vast knowledge, you still aren't winning more chess games? And even worse than that, when you do blunder your games away, it's often things that you already know, like basic tactics and hanging pieces. So when you review your games, you look at these blunders and are like, well, I know that's a blunder, I just won't do it again. And yet you make the same mistakes over and over again. Well, the reason for this is because chess knowledge doesn't directly lead to chess improvement. And no matter how much you watch your favorite YouTuber, passive learning will only get you so far. Which is why in this video, I'm going to show you the best ways to drill all of your knowledge so that you can develop your pattern recognition, which is what will actually win you games in practical reality. All right, first off, if you have a chess.com membership, then you can go down to this Learn tab, go over to Practice, and you can go to Drills, and then practice all of these things that are also available on Chess. But because Chess is free, that is what we're going to focus on in this video. So what you want to do after making a Chess account is go to the home page, go to Learn, and go to Practice. And from here, you'll see lots of different sections: checkmates, basic tactics, intermediate tactics, pawn endings, and rook endings. And I'm going to tell you the 3 most important things that you need to be practicing from this section. The first and most important thing that you need to be practicing from this section is the piece checkmates, especially if you're a complete beginner. What you can do before actually starting this drill is watch up your favorite YouTuber or whatever and see how they tell you how to deliver this checkmate. But after that, you need to go over and drill these positions. You need to drill them rather than just say, okay, next time I get this in some random game, stored it in the memory bank, and then I'm going to whip it out on the board. No, that's not going to happen. You're going to have forgotten by the time you get to actually play it in a real game, which means that it's not going to work. And so you need to drill these things as soon as you've seen them. Otherwise, they'll just go into the passive learning and you will not remember it. Same thing with the 2 rook mate. You're going to have to get this one done. Quick ladder mate, and there you go. So just do all of these drills, make sure that you've got them all down. Queen mate's especially important. You can do old knight's opposition, just like this. So you can see that we've got the knight's opposition, knight's opposition, knight's opposition. To keep the knight's opposition. Keep pretending that you're a knight checking the king. And then when the king goes to the side, you cut it off. And then you go in for the checkmate with the queen. So all of this stuff is super important. Make sure you can do all of these. I'm not going to show you how to rook mate or do all the other ones. You can find other videos for that if you want. I've probably even done videos on it. I don't really remember. But just make sure that you've at least drilled all of these basic checkmates. So that's number 1. Super important. If you haven't done those piece checkmates, you're going to find yourself stalemating up a queen in endings, and nobody likes to do that. The next most important thing for you to be doing is going to these checkmate patterns. Do all of these, the back rank mates, deliver them. Right? You need to execute all of these. That way, when you actually solve regular puzzles on chess.com or Lichess, which is giving you a wide array of different motifs, you'll have at least been exposed to every single motif at varying levels. So you can see the back rank puzzles are getting harder and harder, and this goes for every single motif. The hook mate, for example, this one's quite nice. I like the hook mate. You can deliver it like this. It's a checkmate, and they get harder and harder every game. Like this one, you got to sack the rook like this. That's also another checkmate. This one, you even have to sack the queen. So that's you can see that the puzzles get harder and harder, and they develop the different checkmates so that you're more familiar with them and you'll actually remember them rather than just having watched a video where one of them occurs. So these are your bread and butter. You need to get your piece checkmates down. You need to get your checkmate patterns down. Do all of these ones. You don't have to do knight and bishop mate. That's a waste of time. Basic tactics, also really good. If you have the time, I would go for these as well. But the most important other thing that you should be doing is pawn endings and rook endings. These should really come first. So if I had to order these in priority, do the checkmates, do the pawn endings, do the rook endings, and then do all of the basic and intermediate tactics. That is the order in which I would do it. So the reason the pawn endings is super important is because when you load these up, you can see if you can't win these ones, then your understanding of endgames is going to be severely inhibited. You need to be confident in these positions so that you can trade down when you're up material and know that you're going to win the game. So like in this one, you need to know concepts like opposition, for example. You've got sideways opposition like this. You push the pawn 1 square, king goes back, you claim the opposition, boom, red carpet, you make the queen. So these drills are really good and actually better than the chess.com one, by the way, because the chess.com drills for some reason make you go to checkmate every time when obviously you know how to checkmate with the queen at this point. So that's just wasting your time, really. So like I said, pawn endings right there to get those ones done, and then rook endings. So you can see like really important rook endings like loose center position, for example. I won so many over the board games with this. Very important, like building the bridge. You can see it here. you got to give the check like this, and then you put the rook on this square so that you can build the bridge, move your king up like over there. You move the king, and this one they just gave up and allowed us a queen. So all I'm trying to say, that's pretty much the end of the video, guys. Really short video, right? But I just want to drill home that point. You can't just be watching content, you can't just be reading content and expecting to see results. You need to drill these things, and it's not enough just to do it in games, because by the time the game rolls around, you might have already forgotten what you'd learned. So the number one way to learn things is to do the passive learning, where you can watch the video or whatever, and then make sure that you drill it after. So that's really it for this video. If you did like it, hopefully this put you on the right track. Please like and subscribe. Also, if you like my style of teaching, then do check out the description, as I do offer one-to-one coaching. You can send me an email. But other than all of that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.